Hi, I'm Micah. I'm a trail guide here with YCS. I'm at Miles Canyon on the traditional territory of the Kwanlin Nation and Tongkwachong Council. Today I'll be talking about ants. They can be found everywhere along the trails here, and they're one of my favorite animals.
There are at least 19 different species of ants in the Yukon, primarily from 3 genuses: Myrmica, Leptothorax, and Formica. Ants are very social animals, like bees and dolphins, and communicate with each other using sounds, touch, and pheromones. Pheromones are chemicals secreted by the ant. Since most ants live underground, they use the soil surface to leave pheromone trails that may be followed by other ants. This is usually used to direct other ants to a food source. Foraging ants travel up to 700 feet away from their nests in search of food, always being able to find their way back using these scent trails. A crushed ant emits an alarm pheromone that sends nearby ants into an attack frenzy and attracts more ants from farther away. Ants attack and defend themselves by biting. When they bite, a small amount of acid, called formic acid, is released. Formic acid actually helps repel mites, and birds often intentionally disturb ant nests in order to be bitten, the acid being released, repelling the mites on the bird. The life cycle of an ant consists of 4 stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. In the first stage, the eggs are oval-shaped and very small, with most being around 1 millimeter long. Not all eggs move on to being larvae, as some are eaten by their nestmates as nourishment. If they make it past the egg stage, they become larvae with no eyes and no legs. They constantly eat food that is regurgitated by the adult ants. The larvae shed their skin multiple times as they increase in size. Once they reach a certain size, the larva pupates. During this time, the body changes into its adult form. How long an ant lives depends on a variety of factors, including its species, location, and food abundance. One of the most important factors, however, is what caste the ant is in, if it's a male, worker, or a queen. Because male ants only exist to reproduce, their lifespan is very short, only a few weeks. Workers, however, can live up to 7 years, and queens can even live up to 15 years. Like other insects, ants perceive smell with their antennae. The antennae provide information about the direction and intensity of scents. Ants also don't have ears. They hear by picking up vibrations in the ground through an organ located just below their knee. The average ant can carry up to 50 times its own body weight and run at a rate of nearly 800 times its body length per minute. This is the equivalent to the average person carrying up to 4.5 tons over their head and running at a speed of over 80 kilometers an hour. Now, what you may be wondering is, what if an ant were the size of a human? Well, unfortunately, if an ant was scaled up to be the size of a human, it would simply die. Ants don't have lungs, and instead absorb oxygen through spiracles, which are a series of holes located on the sides of their bodies. The spiracles are connected through a network of tubes which helps distribute the oxygen to almost every cell in their body. Essentially, if you were to scale up the ant in proportion to its current size, its surface area to volume ratio would be drastically altered. It wouldn't be able to absorb enough oxygen to power its increased size. So a human-sized ant wouldn't work, but what about an ant-sized human? An ant-sized human would be exceptionally strong and fast and would have nearly unlimited energy, since they would be able to take in much more oxygen than would be needed to run their body. Unfortunately, they would suffer from problems such as increased heat and water loss, which would almost certainly kill them, although perhaps not quite as fast as the human-sized ant would die. Almost like we evolved to be the size we are. Anyways, ants are pretty cool, and if you walk along the trails at Miles Canyon, you will surely see some, if it's nice out, that is. And just imagine if you could be as strong as an ant.